Here's how I prepare and install Lazy Susan doors using Salis hinges. So these are the doors to my corner cabinet right here. This is going to be the door that is attached to the cabinet. Then those two up there will have the bifold hinge, and that'll be the far end. So what I'm going to do is put Salis hinges on here that will do my 1.25" overlay. Now the Salis hinge, as you see right here, is a little bit different in the fact that it has this part that you actually have to cut into the face frame. It creates the overlay. As I went ahead and used my Craig jig with my 35mm Forstner bit, and these hinges call for a 4mm setback on the jig. I just spun the bit a few times by hand to create a pinpoint so I could draw a center line out here so I can mark that on my face frame. I've done the same on this other side right here as well. The same 3.5 inches up from here for my jig, and created these center holes there, and the same over here. Now the hinges for this side are a little bit different because there are none. This one side has a cup, this side does not, so it'll just have pilot holes where the plate screws right to it. But there I've marked where the center line is for the hinge that's on this side. I've done the same up above here as well. You can see it right here. Got a few runs of my finish. Because this door is pre-finished already, I'm going to clamp this down tight to my table so that nothing slides. It's got a nice good grip on it and doesn't damage my finish on my door. Okay, now that I got it clamped down where I want it, I'll just undo the bit, put the bit in my drill, and relock it back down to the template, and I should still be aligned. So now I can drill it out. This is the same process I use for drilling my other doors that are not pre-finished yet. Normally I like to drill them all out prior to finishing them, but because this door is pretty complex and it took me a while to find hinges that would do an 1.5" over or 1.25" overlay, I like to drill the holes after the fact. Now I'm just going to drill out my pilot. And that's how we drill the cups for that will mount the hinges that go on the face frame. That actually takes care of drilling the cups. Now I don't need to drill any more cups for any more doors because only door 1 needs the cups. Door 2, the hinge is screwed directly to the frame itself. Now to mount this onto the door, basically you have to drill half your 35mm Forstner bit, so half your cup will go into your face frame, so this rides inside the face frame like that. And then the screws mount flush. So this is what it'd be looking like if it is facing outward, like that. And then the hinge just clips right onto here. Now for me, I don't have this much space behind here, so I'm actually going to be carving into the carcass of the cabinet. And in order to do that, I need to really stabilize the bit so I can drill in there. You should probably use an equal size space sacrificial material, because when you're using your Forstner bit to drill, for me is like this, you're splitting the difference like that. So it's got to drill through both pieces of material at once. And because I'm drilling into the cabinet wall itself, I need something to hold the bit into the wall too. So in order to do that, I'm simply going to put a 2x4 back there like that, and then do like this. So I'll clamp the 2x4 to this and clamp this to the face frame, which will allow it to keep it connected. From the inside, this is what it looks like from the outside. Now what I want to drill is right here. I want to drill straight in as possible. So now the trick here is to keep this as straight and level as possible with keeping it aligned with where it needs to be. I've gone through the face frame and I'm inside the cabinet and into my sacrificial backer board that's back in there. Now, it should be far enough in. It's just whether or not I kept a straight enough line. drive it all the way in. And it kind of looks like I sloped downwards, which if I did, that's gonna need to be cleaned up. I am in far enough. In fact, I'm in a little far, but I definitely drove down some. So I'm gonna have to clean the top edge up a little bit so that it's straight. Otherwise my hinge will wanna be cockeyed. Let's see how that cup hinge fits in here now. See if it fits nice and square. Looks like I need to hit right back here a little bit more. And I believe we got it. It's pretty close. See here that just drilling those two holes out created a large mess of chips. We are back in the shop, and I discovered that I put the hinges on the wrong side, so I basically got to redo them. They're kind of a little bit of a pain to. Now for the other side hinges, really what I need to do is simply just screw the bifold hinges in here into this side. Now what I'm going to do is I'm not going to tighten these all the way up. And allow the hinge to have a little bit of a play to it. But I need to put pilot holes basically 28 centimeters from the edge, which would be right about there. Right about there. And that's a correction, that's actually 28 millimeters. And then the holes need to be 32 millimeters apart, which half of 32 is 16. So I'm going to put a hole mark right there, and then I'm going to go to 16 on the other side, or put a mark right there as well. So I've got my square here, and I know where the points are going to intersect. So I'm just going to put a little line here so that I know roughly where they're going to go. And then from the other side, it's just simply going to be connecting these two lines that are 28 millimeters in from the from there. So basically right here where these lines intersect is where I need to drill the holes. And if I look here, those meet up perfectly, just like that. Carefully drilling in right here, taking care to drill straight down and not drill too deep. Taking note which way they go. Basically going to do, so I'm just going to take the hinge mounting bracket, hold it in, because it has a little flush lip here, and I'm just going to draw a line right there so I know exactly where it is, and you can see it's pretty centered and everything. And then I'm going to use my self-centering drill bit to drill that hole. So what I'm going to do here is carefully hold this and simply drill it in. And then I'm going to do the same at the bottom. Matter of clipping these in. If we're lucky, everything will have lined up. Also, I guess if I flip the door around in the correct direction. So remember, these hinges here are still loose and wobbly because I wanted them like that so I can adjust. You can see it's kind of hitting here at the edge, which is preventing it from folding a little bit farther. So I need to adjust it just a little bit to allow this to bifold out a little bit farther. It's hitting my door here and here, so I'll have to look at the adjustment to kind of slide it out a little bit farther. I got a nice seam right in there. You can see it folds up really nice and tight. I'm going to put the handle over here or up here, depending on where my wife wants it. That's essentially how a corner cabinet bifold door works. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe for more videos.